Alright, in this video we're going to talk about naming acids. Now acids are everywhere in your life. If you drink any sort of fruit juice, orange juice, grapefruit juice, any citrus juice, you're drinking an acid. If you drink cola, soda, you're drinking an acid. In fact, if you throw up, you are spewing out of your mouth your food contents plus your stomach acid. And that's why bulimics, people that are going through bulimia, often have bad teeth or they have dental problems because they're so often putting that very, very strong stomach acid in their mouth that it destroys their teeth. Well, let's talk about first what makes something an acid. It's very simple. An acid is any compound that begins with an H. So here are some acids. This is battery acid. Here's stomach acid. Here is the acid that's in soda. So these are three acids, and you can see what they have in common is they all start with a hydrogen. This is the most basic definition of an acid in chemistry, and one that we'll use most of the year. So, how do we name an acid? So let's take a look at kind of a flow chart that will help explain how to do this. All right, so here you could see a flow chart for naming acids. So we can call this maybe we'll just call this the acid flow chart. And let's take a look at the acid on the front of the video, the first slide, the beginning of the video, H2SO4. So let's follow the flow chart here and see if we can give it a name. So does the anion contain oxygen? So if we want to split this up into two parts, right, we know this is the cation and then this is the anion. So the anion does contain oxygen. So that's yes. So we go down here. Check the ending of the ion name. So this particular ion is sulfate. That's one of the polyatomic ions that I wanted you to memorize, but you can look at your sheet for now until you get comfortable with them. But that is sulfate. So check the ending of the name. Is it 8 or ite? It's 8. So you take the anion or the root element and add ic. So the anion is sulfate. So we're going to add an ic to this. So it's not going to be sulfate ic. We drop the 8. And how you would name this would simply become sulfur for the sulfate, sulfuric acid. Okay? Let's try another one. Whoops. Let's do the third acid from the front. H2CO3. Okay. So we look. Does the anion contain oxygen? Yes. The ending of the anion name. If you look at your polyatomic ion sheet, you'll see that carbon and CO3 is the carbonate ion. So this is carbonate. And so since it ends in the 8 ending, we're going to add ic to this. So this is the soda pop acid, and you've probably heard of this. Carbonic acid. All right. So here's our list again. Let's look at two more here. Let's look at HNO2 and let's look at HCl. So the first one. Okay, does the anion contain oxygen? Yes. Check the ending of the anion name. This is nitrite. NO2 is nitrite. So we're going to add an OUS ending. So this acid would become nitrous. And sometimes, like in the Fast and the Furious, or if you're into high-speed cars, they'll talk about nitrous, a nitrous tank. Now, that is NO2, but it's not nitrous acid. The acid actually would not be useful in a car. But this NO2 can be separated and used by itself. So then, let's take a look at this one, HCl. Does the anion contain oxygen? No. So now, you put hydro at the front, and then you add an ic ending. So the way it would work, this would be hydro chloric. So notice, here's our hydro, here's the root, and here's the end. So we got 3 parts to that. So when you're naming acids using the flow chart, that has 3 parts to it. It has the hydro part, and then you have the root of the anion, and then you have the ic ending. So it's 3 parts. And that would be your final name. So let's try one more. Alright, let's take a look at this acid. This is an acid that was made famous in Breaking Bad. And I'll talk about, if you're a fan of Breaking Bad, I'll talk about which episode it was and what happened here. But let's first talk about naming it. So this is, it's HF, so we go to the flow chart. Does the anion contain oxygen? And the answer is no. And so we're going to just go the hydro ending, or the hydro prefix, so hydro. And then we're going to put the root, so that's fluorine. So the root of that is fluor, F-L-U-O-R. And then the ending is going to be ic. And so this is hydrofluoric acid. And in season 1, I think it's the 5th episode, Jesse and Walter, but in that episode they put one of their enemies in a bathtub. He died in the basement, I don't remember what from, but they fill the bathtub with hydrofluoric acid, and it dissolves the body. And that's actually what would happen. This is one of the nastier acids for humans to be around. So anyways,